Today, on Be Something Wonderful, How to Live in Infinite States. Next Level, Neville Goddard. I am your host, Tom Kieran, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I heard from one of you said that, Tom, I'm new to the channel, and I've been studying law of attraction, manifesting, Neville Goddard, and the others for years now. But really, I was just ready to sort of put that all aside because I haven't really made major changes in my life. I really want to change my life. I want to change my reality. And then I saw a video where you talk about alternative realities in reality transurfing. And I'm just wondering, how does that fit in with the teachings of Neville Goddard? I think you point to it, but I was wondering if you could talk about that. Well, guys, we're going to talk about this today and more. So Neville Goddard lays out parallel realities and moving to those parallel realities perfectly. And in fact, you even mentioned the movie analogy in your email. And Neville Goddard points to the movie analogy, which I talk about in my reality transurfing videos. So let's unpack this today like we've never unpacked it. Let's go next level, Neville Goddard. So what does Neville say? Neville says, when I say all things exist in the human imagination, I mean infinite states. That's very clear here. He means alternative parallel realities. That's what Neville's talking about. When you go in your imagination, that human imagination, that imagination of God, that Christ within you, all states exist. He's saying all parallel realities exist. Why is that true? Well, for everything possible for you to experience now exists in you as a state of which you are its operative power. Everything possible for you to experience right now. Again, he goes to the timelessness of it, right? The non-locality of it. He points to the holographic nature, which I'm going to show you in a second, exists in you as a state of which you are the operative power. Right now, there's no linear time. And this is big. Here he says living in infinite states. In other words, living in these parallel realities, these alternative realities. The basic state from which you operate is your body of belief. The basic state from which we operate is our body of belief. If you believe you are limited, your thoughts flow from that belief. Hear this. What's he saying here? He's pointing to that idea that the universe is a hologram, that you're a hologram, that nature's a hologram, everything's holographic. That means in every part of the whole is the whole. Every point in infinity contains the whole, and it's non-local, it's everywhere. This is what he's saying, because we're living that. That means that dimensionally larger you is living all possible realities. You're only seeing, you're only focusing, you're only perceiving, you're only receiving 0.0001% of all realities. Right? You're focused in this one. He says it here, living in infinite states, not in an infinite state. States, the basic state from which we operate is our body of belief. We narrow it down, what we perceive, by what we believe, what we assume. If you believe you are limited, your thoughts flow from that belief. You're living in infinite realities. Let's unpack this a little bit more. This is really cool today. This is big. Living in infinite states, as Neville says, is living in infinite realities. That's what we're talking about right now, right? And so everything possible for you to experience now exists in you. This is what Neville says. That's what Neville means, right? It aligns perfectly with parallel realities, shifting realities, alternative realities. That's all happening right now, right? You are an infinite, multidimensional being living in infinite states that are within you. In the only time there is, the eternal now. This is very clear. You're multidimensional. And that part of that multidimensional you is living this reality. But you're also living the others. And where are those realities? Within you. Wow. You, the 3D world, the universe, everything is non-local, is a non-local hologram of which every part of that hologram, no matter how small, contains and reflects the whole. And that whole is everywhere in all time right now. This all lines up perfectly with the teachings of Neville, with reality transurfing, with alternative parallel realities, right? Wow, this is big. Let's unpack this a little bit more. This is huge. I got a lot of big and huge today, right? Everything you could ever desire or want to experience is already within you, everywhere, all the time. That's what we're talking about. Just pause there for a second. I'm going to read this again. Then I want you to contemplate the magnitude of what we're talking about here. Everything you could ever desire or want to experience is already within you, everywhere, all the time. Neville said it. That Reality Transurfing says it. All the great spiritual teachers, and the greatest of all, Jesus said it. It is a hologram. It's all within you, right? The kingdom of heaven is within you. Neville says you are living in infinite states. He wasn't kidding you. Wow! You're living in infinite states. And that's why everyone is you pushed out. Right? Everyone, well, what does that really mean? That's what it means. How can it be any other way? That's what Neville meant by everyone is pushed out. In a non-local holographic universe where every part contains the whole, and that whole is everywhere and all time, how could it be any other way than everybody is you, than everyone is not you pushed out? It has to be everyone is you pushed out. We're non-local, we're holographic, every part contains the whole, and that whole is everywhere all the time. Wow. Do you get it, guys? It makes pretty good sense here. You don't need to struggle with this, everyone is you pushed out. I know one of you asked me that in an email, right? But I just want to give you how this all fits perfectly, right? This is you. This is who you are. This is your infinite nature. Neville also says, when you say I am, you are speaking as God. You are source. He's very clear here. Add any word and you have placed a limit on an infinite being. So you're living it out, all of it. That I am, that greater I am is everything. Because all things are possible to imagine, the moment you become aware of anything, now Neville's talking about awareness. Hear this. Wow. This is powerful. This is Neville here, right? Because all things are possible to imagine, the moment you become aware of anything, we talked about awareness as your superpower in yesterday's video. Here it is again. You have given it the power to project itself on the screen of space. Here we're getting to the movie analogy. Neville's pointing to the movie analogy. Right? That life is like a movie that you're projecting on the 3D screen of time and space. Right? Remember, you create the screen, you create the space, you create it all. Right? You're projecting that movie. Your superpower is your awareness. If you can be aware of it, its existence, it exists on some level. That's what Neville's pointing to. If you can be aware of it, it has to exist on some level. Wow! Do you get it here, guys? The power to project itself. So let's get into this a little bit more, show you how this really fits. There's the movie analogy. Neville just said it. It has the power to project itself on the 3D screen of time and space. Your awareness, your consciousness is that light, right? You choose the realities by choosing the film roles you wish to occupy, by choosing the lifelines that you wish to occupy. How do you choose? By imagining your wish fulfilled, or in other words, by lighting up and imagining your future frame. When you light up the future frame, you change film roles to where that desired future is. Hear this. Your attention, your awareness is on the screen, right? You're here. So you are the projector. You are the film. You are the awareness and content, but your attention is on what you've already projected. So how can you project anything else than what you've already projected if all your attention is captured in the current frame, on the screen, on what you've already projected, right? So therefore, you keep choosing and playing the same film role over and over again. You know, you've ever seen old films where they haven't digitally fixed them yet or repaired them? They're scraped, they're scattered, they're scratched, right? The quality is very low. Why? Because that film roll, in addition to being old, has been played over and over again. Think of that. That's your 3D reality. It's like an old scratched movie that you keep playing over and over again, and the quality keeps getting duller and duller and worse and worse. That's why people start looking at the world and saying it's crappy. Because you're no longer seeing that pristine film that you just picked off the shelf. Right? That vibrant picture is now dull, right? It's dull because you keep replaying it over and over again. You keep picking the same old movie from the shelf and replaying that same old movie. Do you hear this? Playing the same role over and over again. But that once new film role, it was once a vibrant, beautiful, bright film role, right? Now is dull with scratches of wear and tear because you're not selecting a new film role. You're not going within your imagination, imagining your wish fulfilled, or in other words, illuminating that future frame of your desired future, of your dream future, and lighting it up so you can choose a new film role, right? Instead, make it so that one has scratches. It's dull. Forget that one, right? It's an old movie, right? It even skips now, right? Instead, move your attention awareness within. Choose a film role, a lifeline of reality by lighting up that future desired reality. Let's show you this. We've done this before, but never the way we're doing it today. Remember, these are like the film roles. You're here in the current frame. You're trapped here. You're stuck. Your attention's on the screen of the old movie, the old reality. You keep replaying that instead of lighting up your future frame, instead of imagining your wish fulfilled. When you do, you don't stay on this film role. You choose a new film role by lighting up that future. And you move to the film role where your desired future is. Remember, those film roles have a script that's already been written. So you can't change this script. What you can do by imagining your wish fulfilled, by illuminating that future frame, is move to a new state, a new infinite state, a new film role. That's what Neville was talking about. You're living infinite realities. Right? And so you move to where that version of yourself's already living that out your dream. Instead, we get stuck here in our current frame, right? Playing the same film role over and over again. You're immersed in the projection, your own projection on the screen of time and space. You're immersed in the illusion of 3D reality, the illusion you created, the movie you're projecting. You're immersed in that, right? Versus choosing your desired reality, choosing a new film role within by illuminating your future frame. That is, imagining your wish fulfilled. Your consciousness, awareness, is that light beam projecting the movie of your life. That conscious awareness that we just showed you, that's your light beam of life, right? Projecting the movie of your life, shaped by your thoughts, feelings, assumptions, beliefs, and attentions. That's how that light beam is getting projected. Wow, that's big. Let's unpack this a little bit more. Shifting realities, occupying your state of wish fulfilled, is a shift from what seems so solid and real in 3D to what you believe is true, right? You believe that projection, that movie projection, that screen is real and solid and real, and you can't move it, you can't change it, right? You believe it to be truth. And so what is shifting realities? It's shifting yourself from that to the awareness that the truth is only a belief or assumption you are choosing right now. Wow. Let's hit this more. Shifting realities, or in other words, occupying your state of wish fulfilled, is a shift from what seems so solid and real in 3D, or in other words, what you believe is truth or true, to the awareness that truth is only a belief or assumption that you're choosing right now. That's all truth is. You get to decide that. There's the ultimate truth of pure, unconditioned awareness, that original I am, that source. But after that, it's all what you decide, right? If you don't realize this, but this is what Neville says again. Oh no, this is what Eckhart Tolle says. This is what I wanted to give you, right? Eckhart Tolle, in his book, The Power of Now, has one of the most powerful openings in a book ever. He talks about seeing a beggar on the corner, and the beggar is sitting on a box. And a stranger asks the beggar, "What are you sitting on?" He goes, "I don't know, I've never looked into it." And he goes, "Well, what are you looking at?" And he goes, "Oh no, I don't think so. I've been here 30 years sitting on this box." And the stranger insists, "Well, just have a look." And sure enough, the beggar opens the box and it's gold. He has riches beyond he could ever imagine, and he's been sitting on those riches the whole time. That's what you're doing when you're sitting on your awareness. When you're sitting on this power within, you're sitting on a gold mine. You've got a gold mine that you don't know what the value is. You're sitting on a box like a beggar on the corner, right? Because you might say, well, Tom, I'm not a beggar. I'm living a pretty good life. But unless you know that awareness within, unless you consciously create your own reality, you're no better off than the beggar. Hear this, right? If you don't realize this power of consciousness, awareness within, you're like the beggar sitting on a box of gold. This is what Eckhart Tolle says, right? You own a gold mine without realizing the infinite wealth and value that it contains within. Wow, that's your awareness. The movie screen of your life in 3D reality only reflects what you project. It only can ever reflect what you project. So truth depends upon, this is what Neville says, just to really hit this home, because we talked about truth, right? That there's the true ultimate reality, but then there's the truth that you believe, right? And this is what he says. Truth depends upon the intensity of the imagination, not on the external facts. There it is, Neville, tying it all up for us here, right? Wow. The 3D, and remember, when he says not upon the external facts, he's saying the 3D screen of time and space, the movie analogy, right? Truth is a belief, assumption, intention you are choosing right now. You are always choosing the film role in which the script of your life plays out. You cannot change the script, but you can change the film role. Within each film role, the script is written. But what do we try to do? We try to change the script. That's what causes all the heartache. That's what causes all the struggle. Versus imagining our wish fulfilled, lighting up that future frame and being moved by that higher power, by that God within you to your dream reality, to your desired reality. And this is what Neville says, he sees the outer world and all its happenings as projections of the inner world of imagination. That's what you want to be now. Seeing the outer world as projections of your inner world. It's your movie. It's your life. It's all you. This is how to live in infinite states. This really is next level Neville Goddard. I am your host, Tom Caron, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and comment on our videos and share them. That's how we get the word out. That's how we get known. You can follow us on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Caron, our website at tomcaron.com or BeSomethingWonderful.com, or write me anytime at info@BeSomethingWonderful.com. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, with great light, great love, see you soon.